This is part 2 of my 4-part meditation series about heartbreak, winter, or resting, mourning, and shadow work. Come to a comfortable seated position with your back supported. Make sure you are nice and cozy as you may face a few uncomfortable things during this process. Start focusing on your breath, breathing in and out through your nose. Do your best to not control it, just let it happen. If your mind wanders, just come back to your breath. Imagine yourself standing outside, bundled up and facing a gentle snowy day. There is a path in front of you, clear but cold and white. To the right and left of you are only white hills covered in sparkling ice crystals. The sky is gray with clouds. While it is light, it is not extremely bright. Your hands are covered with soft gloves. You have boots on, a scarf around your neck, long warm pants, and a large wool coat to keep you out of the cold. You start to walk forward, hearing your footsteps crunch into the muffled silence of the snowy path. The crunch of the snow beneath your feet is muffled by the same snow that surrounds you. There is still nothing behind or ahead of you that you can see. Your shadow is your only company as the snowfall becomes heavier, the flakes increasing in size and quantity. The cold starts to increase along with the wind, and there are still no houses or other shelter around you. You have no other choice but to move forward against the wind pushing against you. The wind whips around you, pushing you on and off the path. Soon you are blinded by the white static and you are lost. You start to crawl forward, searching for the pathway but not finding it. You start to panic, breathing heavily, feeling despair and fear. However, your glove touches something warm. You see it as a small hand, and when you look up slightly, you see a child laying on the cold ground, crying and whimpering, their other hand covering their face to protect it from the wind and snow. Even though they are bundled up, you do not doubt that they are cold. You take their hand and pull them into your arms. "It's all right," you whisper to them. "We're going to be okay. I found you. I'm going to take care of you. You are safe." The child stops crying, and you hold each other in the storm, keeping each other warm. Soon the wind stops howling, the snow flurries slow to a gentle fall, and you can see clearly now that you and the child were just a stone's throw away from a small cottage. You stand together and make your way towards it. You knock on the door, but there is no answer. You open the door slowly, and no one is inside. It is a single room with 2 beds, a fireplace, a tiny kitchen with a table, and a large comfy chair. There is only a light layer of dust, so whoever it belonged to hasn't been gone long, but have not been here recently. Even though you don't want to be accused of stealing, you have a feeling that whomever this cottage belongs wouldn't mind if you took shelter here. You busy yourselves making a fire and looking for food. The child finds some canned peaches and dried apples in the cupboard, fresh water in the fridge, potatoes, carrots in some baskets, and some meat, or if you prefer, tofu, in a working freezer in the kitchen. Once you have a large fire lit, you bundle the child up in the pile of blankets and they fall asleep. You chop up the vegetables, meat or tofu, and roots and put them into a large cast iron pot that you hang over the fire from a piece of metal that seems like it was designed specifically for cooking. Soon the home smells of delicious warm soup and has become a safe, cozy haven for the two of you. You even find some milk and chocolate and start to heat yourself up some hot chocolate. Soon the child starts to stir and awaken. You wordlessly bring them a bowl of soup and a cup of hot chocolate. You both take some time to eat, allowing the soup to warm you from the inside out. As you're eating, you and the child start to talk. They ask you your name, what you do for a living, who your friends are, how many members are in your family, and what your favorite color is. As you tell this little person everything, all the things that you've been carrying in your heart also come forward. Pick the top 3 things you've been struggling with to tell this child. Tell them what happened, why you made certain decisions, and how you feel about the different situations, and tell them to the child. Take as long as you like, even if you need to pause this video. When you finish, you apologize to the child for pouring your heart out. But the child touches your hand and smiles and said, "That's all right." You ask them what their story is, what their name is, and who they are. As they speak to you, you find out that their name is your own, your family the same as your own, and that their friends share the names of your childhood friends. Of course, this child is you. As they speak, you're greeted with memories of your past. They talk about the things that bring them joy, that used to bring you joy, and about the things and the people that hurt them, that once hurt you. You remember how your child self was harmed by people and situations outside of their control, and you realize how that affected your path and your decisions. The child looks at you with large, tired, tear-filled eyes and asks, "How did you get through all of it?" You take a moment to think how you survived your years. Perhaps some things got harder as you got older, and perhaps you didn't make the best decisions. You tell them this because you want to be honest, but then you share with them how you learned from those things and trials. You tell them that sometimes life isn't fair, but that there is great joy to be found in it still. Sometimes joy is a warm piece of pie on a rainy day, the purr of a cat, or finding a penny on the ground. Sometimes joy is a particularly delicious sandwich, the hug of a friend, or the warmth of a blanket. You tell them that it is okay to be sad and hurt and angry and upset, because that means that you are human and that you are alive. You need to have feelings so you can work through those tough situations. You tell them that it is also okay to mess up because that you learn from mistakes or from the pain of rash decisions. Life is not always fair, and sometimes the pain or embarrassment can be unbearable. But you can survive and you can learn to be happy. You take some time in the silence as a child thinks things over, and as you revel in the release of emotions that you've just had. If tears come to your eyes, allow them to flow. Soon the child looks at you with their large eyes and says, "Thank you for saving me." You look back at them and say, "You saved me too." You embrace this child who is also you, knowing that you both are going to be okay. Maybe not now, but you will be soon. You continue hugging each other until you feel them fade away from your arms, their essence rejoining your heart and soul. You snuggle deeper into your blankets and listen to the faint popping of the fire in the hearth and fall asleep. If you desire to fall asleep here, thank you for joining me for this meditation. If you would rather get up and continue about your day, then take your time emerging, knowing that you are safe and loved. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.